Und damit Hallöchen und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Vampyr. Wir sind allerdings diesmal nicht in dem Stream, sondern wir machen das mal, oder beziehungsweise werden das weiter als reine Aufnahme spielen. Ich hoffe, man hört das Gebohre überhalb von mir nicht. So, wir sollten jetzt zurück, soweit ich weiß, weil man nämlich... Oh, wir können uns jetzt mit Leertaste teleportieren. Kostet das Blut? Nein, es kostet nur Ausdauer. Okay. Genau, wir sollen jetzt erstellen Sie eine Behandlung gegen Erschöpfung her. Damit sollen wir wahrscheinlich ins Krankenhaus, vermute ich mal zurück. Leider weiß ich den Weg nicht mehr. Es tut mir auch so ein bisschen leid, dass wir beim letzten Mal so spontan abbrechen mussten, aber meiner Kleinen ging es halt einfach nicht gut und da geht die kleine Maus halt vor. Wir sollen bestimmt in unser Zimmerchen. Denke ich mal. Wir sollen bestimmt nicht hier unten. Ach, hier drinnen darf ich mich ja nicht teleportieren. Ja. Wir hätten eine Etage höher gemusst. Kann ich das hier öffnen? Billiger Gin und kleines Fläschchen, okay. Abgenutzte Säge. Ist die gut? Unser jetzt macht 15,15. Verbraucht mehr Ausdauer. Macht dafür mehr Schaden. Okay, wir nehmen mal die. Vielleicht können wir die auch noch verbessern. Uppala. Ja, jetzt ist die Sensibilität wieder zu schnell. Ich finde das echt blöd. So, wo haben wir denn nochmal den Tisch zum Verbessern? Da. Ist das gleiche, okay. Ein Mittel gegen Erschöpfung. Ja, das machen wir gleich. Ja, uns fehlt eine Bleiplatte, ne? Schade. Aber den könnten wir verbessern. Der gewöhnliche Flock. Verursacht dann 5 Schaden mehr. Ich glaube, das machen wir mal. Okay, und jetzt sollen wir ein Mittel gegen Erschöpfung herstellen. Oh, wir können analysieren. Eine rätselhafte Formel. Und die wässrige Probe. Leichtes Blutserum. Wässrige Probe, Egothermien und Opium, okay. Gegen Erkältung, Bronchitis, Lungenentzündung, Blutvergiftung, Blutarmut, gegen Erschöpfung. Das haben wir gemacht. Bring die Medizin zu Dorothy Crane. Dorothy. Oh, Dorothy. Hier drin? Nee, Doktor, hier dürfen wir bestimmt nicht.
It's locked, all right.
Hä? Warte mal. Es ist locked, alright? War das Sprache und Untertitel? Deutsch. Okay. Na gut, dann nicht. Ich dachte... Oh, shit. Maussensibilität ändern. Ist die gute unten? Boah, hier ist doch gerade keiner. Hätte man sich runterporten können. Oh, Dorothy.
So tired. Will this shift never end?
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Krankheiten verringern die Blutqualität eines Bürgers. Verwende die richtigen Medikamente, um sie zu heilen. Sprich mit den Patienten im Zimmer hinter Dorothy, um seinen Gesundheitsstatus zu kontrollieren.
So many deaths.
Ihmchen
Still
hier?
more coming.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
Okay.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Okay.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest then.
Good evening, sir. Still more coming. Doctor. How can we be sure we're making a difference?
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
Okay, für persönliche Fragen brauchen wir erst mehr Hinweise.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Okay.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Okay, wir kriegen also gerade mehr Hinweise.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Die hat ihnen Geld für ein Bett abgenommen? Ich verstehe ihre Benommenheit.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
So, da bräuchten wir noch einen Hinweis. Okay, also irgendwas haben wir nicht rausbekommen. Können wir jetzt persönlich was fragen? Okay, schade.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Wir wissen zwar jetzt mehr, ein Verräter im Krankenhaus, sprich mit Edgar. Okay, können wir mit dir nochmal reden? Vielleicht wissen
Good
wir
evening,
jetzt mehr.
Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Okay, dann wollen wir mal mit Edgar reden.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed,
Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
Okay.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
Okay, dann erzähl mal von deinem
I
Experiment.
based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Okay, so kriegen wir jetzt noch was Persönliches.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Braucht er denn Hilfe
Do you need
vielleicht?
help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Okay, wir haben also eine neue Aufgabe.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Okay. Also haben wir jetzt hier einen Korrupten und jemanden, der wie ein Doktor, der mit seinen Patienten eigentlich nichts zu tun haben will.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Okay, jetzt haben wir schon mal einen Hinweis zu Mr. Fiddicks. Für ihn müssen wir woanders noch Hinweise
Goodbye,
finden.
Dr. Strickland.
Okay, wir sollten auf jeden Fall mit den Leuten mal reden. Das ist auf jeden Fall gar nicht schlecht.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Okay, denkt also nicht gut über uns.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Okay, wir erfahren also langsam mehr über die Leute.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Naja.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
I really hope you're right about this, Dr. Ackroyd. I'm trusting your judgment on this.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
Okay, weshalb? Wir machen das nochmal.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
I really hope you're right about this, Dr. Ackroyd. I'm trusting your judgment on this.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reed. There is no need for you to
Schade,
be
okay, ich
looking
dachte,
over
ich
my
kann vielleicht nochmal die
shoulder.
anderen Sachen nehmen sollen. Ich sollte vorher ein bisschen besser gucken, was man dort vielleicht noch machen kann. Können wir was Persönliches fragen? Oh, wir haben sogar schon mehrere Hinweise.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Ich habe viele Leben gerettet. Wissen Sie, Wissen ist die wichtigste Waffe. Machen wir mal das.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon. And it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative. It is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Okay, schade, mehr haben wir leider nicht.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Okay, wir gucken uns mal noch ein bisschen um hier im Krankenhaus. Upsala. Bevor wir jetzt einfach losrennen, können wir mit ihm reden? Ja.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Ja, erzähl. Lassen uns mal so ein bisschen
Tell me
ausfragen.
about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Hä, wir wissen noch nicht, ob wir Blut sehen können, ne? Und dann nicht durchdrehen.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Okay, jetzt wissen wir mehr. Haben Sie sich mutwillig verletzt? Ihre Frau ist ihretwegen gestorben.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
Ja gut, da ist er aber nicht dran schuld.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Okay.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Okay. Schade, mehr haben wir nicht. Haben wir da noch was Neues?
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Ich hoffe, dass die Ärzte ihn gut behandeln. Wenn wir jetzt nochmal mit dem reden, haben wir hier noch was Neues jetzt gekriegt?
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Schade.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Okay. Bei ihm haben wir nichts Neues. Und wie sieht es bei Mr. Fiddick aus? Bei Mr.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
Aha.
What do you think of Dr. Aykroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Aykroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Aykroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Okay. Haben wir jetzt da noch was? Schade. Ich will mehr über die
Goodbye,
Leute
Dr.
wissen.
Strickland.
Irgendwie ist das cool, dass man so, wenn man mit Leuten redet, Informationen über andere kriegt. Dorothy,
Dr. Reed, may I
hättest du noch
help
was? Haben wir bei dir was Neues?
For how long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my first job.
Well, Dr. Swansea certainly has confidence in your abilities. Are you in charge of the nursing staff?
Not in an official capacity, but the Pembroke doesn't always work above board, so to speak.
What about medical protocols?
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and resources here at the Pembroke like they do in the West End. We do what we can.
Okay, gibt's
How is
Dienstpläne?
the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane? I've been out of touch since I've come back to England.
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them. Not as long as the war is raging on, anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control, at least in Britain.
It seemed to be for a while, but that was only last summer. It returned with a vengeance just over a month ago.
Oh, okay.
What can you tell me about our patients here at Pembroke?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and needy. But since the war and the quarantine, we've had all manner of folk.
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly, dock workers. We even have a few mental patients. If there's space, we take them.
Okay, also hier werden anscheinend
I'll see
alle
you later,
aufgenommen.
Nurse Crane.
See you later, Nurse Crane. Okay, ich würde sagen, Verlockung des Bluts. Bedenke, dass dir das Blut von Bürgern eine große Menge EP gewährt. Suche Bürger deiner Bandstufe oder niedriger und wähle sie mit Bedacht aus. Eigentlich könnten wir das nochmal kurz machen. Wir könnten mal rausgehen aus dem Krankenhaus, gucken, ob wir einen Bürger finden. Wenn es hier überhaupt welche gibt in der Stadt. Ach, Ratten, okay. Ich suche aber keine Ratten. Okay, hier in dem Teil sind wieder die Rekruten. Ich suche aber doch eigentlich eher Bürger. Statusbezirk gesund. Wenn ich den Doktor beseitige, haben wir echt ein Problem. Unbekannt. Wegen der Grippe nimmt dieses Krankenhaus keine weiteren Patienten auf. Das Krankenhaus ist voll. Bitte kehren Sie wieder heim. Ja, und das zu Kranken, okay? Die hier vielleicht vorbeikommen. EP gibt halt nicht viel Qualität des Blutes. Er ist halt erschöpft.
Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed. Still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive to me. More interesting, one way or another.
Kriegen wir was raus? Okay, Hinweise brauchen wir erst.
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favor.
Boah, dieser Lärm hier draußen ist halt wieder echt unangenehm, gerade beim Aufnehmen.
You're a monster, Mr. Cox. An ungrateful and disgusting man.
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
Ich glaube,
I'll leave
den werden wir
you
mal
for now,
aufzehren.
Mr. Cox.
Verstecken? Nein. Oh, das Blut wird besser, da wir mit ihm reden, oder?
Hey, Doc.
Okay, wir werden weiter mal ausquetschen.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, all like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
Okay. Gibt's noch was Persönliches, was wir jetzt fragen können? Oh, cool.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
The police may be slow, but they will find you eventually.
Well, how come you didn't turn me in then? Nah, Doc, I figure you have something to hide so you can't ask the coppers for help.
Hinweis fehlgeschlagen. Okay, schade.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
So, wie kann ich den jetzt nochmal in mein Band ziehen? Okay, müssen wir mal kurz in die Optionen mal nochmal gucken. Gameplay und Tastenbelegung. Laufen, Rennen, Ausweichen. Das ist ja Kampf. Auf Sinne umschalten, Charaktermenü, Mission, Dialog. In den Band ziehen. Ach, mit Q war das, okay. Warum kann ich den jetzt nicht in den Band ziehen?
Is this supposed to be an hospital? A pigsty would smell better.
Mit Q. Nein, reden will ich
Hey,
nicht.
Doc.
How long do you think you can escape the law, Clay?
I know this city like the back of my hand, Doc. I know its streets, who to pay, who to avoid, and who to bully. I won't get caught.
The police may be slow, but they will find you eventually.
Well, how come you didn't turn me in then?
Ah, wenn ich mit ihm rede, okay. Komm, wir gehen mal ein Stück. Aber ich kann ihn nur auch loslassen, oder wie? Okay, irgendwie hat das gerade nicht funktioniert.
Hey, Doc.
R für Details. Q. Und jetzt? Wie kann ich ihn jetzt aussaugen? Irgendwie kann ich ihn nur loslassen. Na gut, ich würde sagen, das probieren wir beim nächsten Mal nochmal. Wir sehen uns. Bis dahin. Auf Wiedersehen und tschüss.